So, what is going on is that we have this year, in 2012, for the second time, the review of the Universal Periodic Review of the Human Rights at the Human Rights Council of Ukraine. This UPR is a new and unique human rights instrument of the United Nations that was established by the Human Rights Council in 2006 to further improve respect for and protection of human rights worldwide. Under this mechanism, the fulfillment by each UN member state of its human rights obligations and commitments is reviewed every 4.5 years. So every member of the United Nations, meaning 193 member states, all members are being reviewed without exception. This Universal Periodic Review is based on 3 major documents. A national report prepared by the state under review. In this case, the Ministry of Justice is in charge of coordinating the inputs of government. A compilation of information which is provided by the United Nations system in the country and outside, which looks at respect of all conventions, international treaties that have been signed by the government. And this is compiled by the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights in Geneva. And very importantly, a compilation of contributions from civil society organizations. And this is, today's focus is about the submission of these civil society organizations. At first, it may seem that there's not much what did I write here? Not much inputs on the part of the governments themselves, but de facto, the UPR is actually a peer review process. So once the state presents all these reports, they also have to go into an overall session in Geneva, and the session for Ukraine will take place on the 1st of November this year, and their other states review thus the importance of your active participation for those of you that are coming from embassies and your awareness so that you can also input in the recommendations that will be provided to Ukraine. As I've said, the review is an interactive dialogue, and the review is, in the states are expected to submit questions on different human rights issues to Ukraine. During these interactive dialogues, the states conducting the review are invited to ask questions, seek clarifications, praise or criticize the human rights policy of the state under review, and most importantly, as I already mentioned, make recommendations. When the state, in this case Ukraine, accepts recommendations, Ukraine will accept the responsibility to implement those recommendations within the next cycle period. Meaning that 4.5 years later, the state will again report as what they have done against the recommendations. So in this particular second session, and I'm sure you will hear from civil society, we will also review what is the status of the recommendations that were provided 4 years ago. As I've said, Ukraine was one of the first countries that underwent the Universal Periodic Review back in 2008. So this is the second time. The Human Rights Council and the member states have gotten far more sophisticated in the way that they provide recommendations. At the beginning, in the first cycle, there may have been an average of 70 to 50 to 100 recommendations. Now we see very often, for all states, many more recommendations and much more precise on various human rights issues. So let me tell you about the state of preparations in Ukraine. Preparations for this peer review have started almost a year ago with active engagement, obviously, from our office. And also we have had an informal coalition of civil society organizations willing to contribute to this Universal Periodic Review collectively or individually. And this coalition is chaired by the Ukrainian Helsinki Human Rights Union, a very active group here in the country. and backstopped both by the UNDP, the United Nations Development Programme, and the civil society projects, and the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights. I am very pleased to say that thanks to this coordination, we have seen a tenfold increase in the number of civil society organizations which will be participating in the UPR this year. In 2008, there were only 4 civil society organizations. This time around, there are 40. So this is really an impressive achievement, and I am very glad that there's also further strengthening of collaboration among all the civil society organizations that are working on human rights. So the objective of today's information session is to provide you with a platform to listen to Ukrainian civil society organizations discuss the human rights issue and development in Ukraine in the upcoming UPR process. We hope that this session will advance your awareness not only on the UPR process, but also help you prepare your countries for the review themselves when the session comes. At the same time, the UN is already looking beyond the horizon of the 2012 review, and we fully realize that this UPR in itself needs to be followed by continuous collective efforts to implement the accepted recommendations and to monitor progress. It is thus crucial to sustain the momentum that we have already gained this year, and I count on all of you, and especially all the donor countries here that are supporting human rights in the country, to continue engaging beyond 2012. Thank you very much.